Hey everyone, it's Papa Flesh here, and in this video I am on the PTR right now, 7.3.2, and I'm going to be messing around with a training dummy, just showing you guys what's up. A couple things I do want to mention starting off is that I do have MSBT, the Mixed Rolling Battle Text, set up. It's just like the default setting, so it's going to be like really cluttered stuff in here. I couldn't change it. Like if I go to it and try to, it keeps giving me errors. If I click something, anything I do, even though it has it checked, it does nothing. Nothing changes with these errors. So, and the base default one isn't working. So, at least for me, it wasn't. So yeah, it's going to be stuff. But the main thing you want to focus on if you're looking for things is going to be over here on the right. It's going to do the little scroll thing. Not the way I like it, but whatever. So I was messing around. I have like the new tier on, which I'll show you in a second. But right now, this was the highest simming combination I had when I was simming a bunch of different gear on the PTR. I was using a most recent nightly build. I'm not sure exactly how accurate it was. So I am back to using Elemental Blast and Echo of the Elements with the Gamble build as well, because I believe the Gamble build synergizes very well with the tier set. So our tier set right here, the 2-set Lava Burst increases the damage of your next Earthshock or Earthquake by 20%, and that benefit, I believe, goes off when it actually deals its damage, not when the cast is completed. So while it's in the air traveling to the target, you do not have the buff until later. Let's just test it real fast just to make sure. Cast it, nothing, and then as soon as I get it, it's this one. As soon as it hits the target, the Earthen Strength popped up. Damage of next Earthshock or Earthquake increased. So it needs to be as soon as it hits the target. And then the 4-piece Earthshock and Frostshock have a 15% chance causing elemental overload. Now the thing I noticed with this is that the elemental overloads themselves cannot crit, as far as I'm aware, but it is based off of the damage of like the one that you casted. So if you cast an Earthshock and it crits, your overloaded one will deal damage based off of the critical strike damage. So if you deal it for 7 million, like a crit, 7 million crit, then our mastery does 95% of normal damage, so it'll do 95% of the 7 million. So it won't actually crit, it'll never crit, but it'll always like deal 95% of the main. So critting on your Earthshocks when they overload is a really good thing. It's very important. So other than that, I think we will be losing a little bit of haste and focusing a little bit more on mastery, I believe. I'm not 100% sure on that. That's just kind of what I found out with my testing and some of the sims going on with the new set. So the other thing is I'm 946 item level on the PTR. So a lot of that is because of these things right here. The tier pieces are all at baseline 930 that you can buy from the vendor. And then I also have this legendary trinket on. Adds a lot. The Amanthul's Grandeur proc does not work. Blizzard clarified that that is going to be for use only in the Argus raid in Taurus, the Burning Throne. And then I have another trinket here. This is one of the trinkets. Int with your damaging spells that critically strike have a chance to increase your haste mastery crit by 192 for 45 seconds, stack up to 5 times. When any of them reach 5, all effects are consumed to grant you a large amount of all 3. Now this is the trinket I've just had on randomly. I don't know if it's the best. I haven't really simmed a bunch of the trinkets. A lot of them have not been working from my experience on the sims, on like raid bots or the nightly sim. They're working in game, but they're not like fully done with the sim craft right now. So this one is not the best, because if you're popping all your burst cooldowns on pull, you're not really going to have any stacks of this. You're not going to have all 3, so you will be missing out on some of that stuff. Other trinkets. This is the Norganons. This one you cannot wear with the legendary. I believe the legendary herd is going to be a personal drop for people in the raid, so you can just have a chance to get it from maybe a certain boss or whatever. But this one is mastery with your damaging spells have a chance to increase your int, and then if empowered in the Argus raid, gain 6 charges of the command and you deal additional damage. This one is a haste with equip your range attacks and spells have a chance to launch a homing missile if your target is at least 10 yards away, dealing a bunch of fire damage in an AoE. Targets closer to the middle of the impact will take more damage. Vitality Resonator, it's a versatility with an on-use int. It's a 1-minute cooldown, lasts for 15 seconds, and it gets more int when used against targets at high health. So that could be gamed in some situations on bosses that spawn ads, maybe, so you instantly use it on an ad, you get a bunch of more int or something. Not sure how the scaling works with that. And this last one here is int with your damaging spells have a chance to conjure shadow blades. After 2 seconds, the swords begin launching forward, each dealing 56,000 to the first enemy, and then they increase the damage of your next one by 10% for 3 seconds. So it's just like a fancy way of having a damage proc. But right now, I'm going to just use this one, just because it's passive and has a cool effect when they all get to max. So, let's see, got all that as my gear out of the way. Got the talents out of the way. This is what I'm using. This was sim the highest. So, let's go ahead. I'm all buffed up here. Let's give it a quick dummy test here. Go ahead and pop our lust there. Use elemental blast on pull, because why not? Let's get our ascendance going here. So yeah, they just had a proc there. 2 things popped up, and my elemental blast is off cooldown. I'm being bad with it. There's another proc, and another. So we just had 3 in a row. That was really good. All these numbers popping up is terrible. So I'm trying to make sure that I keep elemental blast on cooldown, but I haven't played with it since like Nighthold, so I'm not used to hitting it. What's up now? Gone past the maelstrom I'm supposed to use stuff at. So from my dummy tests that I've done in the PTR, this seemed to be about like the highest DPS build that I've found. The main thing, God, there's so much clutter here, I hate this. The main thing that I've noticed is that I am doing about 1.7-ish million after about 5 minutes. It's around there. So hopefully I'll be able to at least get that for you guys here as well. On live I usually get about 1.55. I am, again, like 8 item levels higher, 946. So it's expected to do some more damage. Just want to make sure I'm not embarrassing myself in front of all you guys. Like, that'd be terrible. I would never recover my ego. Still trying to get back into raiding. Ooh, we got a proc. Of course, raiding when I need to refresh my totems. Terrible timing. So this little kind of goldish yellow thing, that is the trinket proc thing. When all 3 of your things, it makes a little effect around your character as well, which is pretty cool. Oops, I should not have cast the lightning bolt. Worked out. With all this clutter, it's a lot harder to tell when my earth shock is overloading. I feel like we had a good start, but it's definitely dropping off a bit now. This is worse than I was doing in, like, I did like 6 or 7 tests pretty much with this build, and they were all consistently doing better than this. Alright, there's a proc. I'll go ahead and use my second potion here, because I'm about to use my fire elemental. I also had this up during it, that trinket buff. So we're going to go ahead and pop Ascendance as well, while we have our potion up. This test is not exactly going the way I wanted it to. I'm weak, guys, I'm weak. So we have a little over a minute on this test to go. while we're getting down on this here, I do want to mention my thoughts on our tier 21 set. Refresh totems just expired. I like the idea behind it. I am worried that I believe it currently synergizes very well with gambling set, just because you're casting all the Earth Shocks already. It buffs the damage of Earth Shock. It feels like it'd be good with the set. So I do worry about that. We get a nice proc. We got 2 procs. Look at that. Look at that time. But it feels a little underwhelming. I don't know, it could just be because my gear setup is not like completely the way it should be or whatever, but and we're at like the end of 5 minutes right now, which is unfortunate. So we're doing less than I do on live on average, which is it's a little weak. Feels really weak to me. Well, let's see what the damage breakdown was. We've got Earthshock at 25%. This is about what it looks like on live. Our Earthshock overload only 4.6%. So our 4-piece right here, literally gave us only, like, what was it, 4.6% damage. And the 2-piece increased the damage of the next Earthshock Earthquake by 20%. I don't know what my uptime on it was. A lot of the time when I get consecutive boot procs, I don't have the buff, so I don't know. It feels like 6 to 7% increase total from this set compared to tier 20, which was, I believe, overall a little higher than that. So it feels, it feels RNG based. I mean, the casino build that I'm already using, the gambling build, is already RNG based. This seems like it could amplify it, especially because the other tests they were doing was like, they just felt way better. Let's see, what if I swap that trinket out? I don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and just do a quick opening burst again, just to see how it goes. But yeah, it feels. I like the idea behind it. I think a lot of people with the current live tier 20 set, it's which is essentially like the pet set. I think people were okay with that set overall, like as a whole. I think it was not that terrible. I think it played better than a lot of people thought it would originally. Like, they hated it, pet class this, all this other stuff. But I think it ended up being better than people had imagined. And, you know, maybe that is the case, maybe it's not. The performance was okay. I like the concept behind the set better, because it's more exciting to me. You're like using your lava burst, you're buffing one thing, has a chance to overload. It just feels a little underpowered. So let's go ahead and just get another start over here. Got those shadow blades. I saw them doing some ass whooping there. Pretty sure we did not get any overloads on our Earthshock, that is. Yeah, you know, it would be really nice to somehow have a, like, it'd be cool if you could. I like more mastery personally. I think mastery is a fun stat for early shamans. I like it. I think it can lead to strong burst. It looks cool when you're just flinging them. You get a lot of consistent maelstrom generation. I really hope that we can go back to using mastery, and maybe having some like reduced benefit of mastery scaling, like just built into the set in the 4-piece. So maybe it's a 10% baseline, and then mastery works at a 25% reduced rate. So yeah, if you have a lot of mastery, then you'll still have a, like if you have 80% mastery, then you'll have a 20% additional chance to overload your Earthshock, as well as the base like 10. So you'd have like 30% chance, which is what, double what it is now? 15. So it would create good stat scaling. I don't know. To me, that sounds like a more fun playstyle. That would not be for everyone, 100% not. But who knows? So, anyways, hope you guys like this video. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this new tier set. I want to know. because I think a lot of people like the idea behind it, but it feels a little weak, especially compared to the old tier set. And with me being 8 item levels higher, I was fully buffed up. I have enchants, I have like my gems and stuff like that. Maybe it's just my stats, maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's just bad RNG, but I felt not super strong. Let me see. Shadow Blade's 2.5% of my damage. Yeah, I don't know if that's better than this other trinket. This other trinket just seems really cool to me. I don't know how good it is though. But yeah, so where's my Earthshock Overload? I had 1 for 4 million there. 2.3% out of like a minute of fighting. I don't know. It seems like the chance is too low. So again, let me know what you guys think. Appreciate you guys watching the video. Hoping to get some of this action on live soon and get that new raid opened up in the next month or so. So see you guys later. Papa Flesh out.